YouTube, it's Missy, and today I'm in the hallway wearing Bear. If you guys don't know who Bear is my, yes, this is called a poncho. It's a poncho robe. It doesn't make any sense. I got it at Ross a couple Christmases ago, and I am constantly wearing it because I am constantly cold. So let's just be cute. I'm gonna keep it on because, like I said, I'm cold. All right, do you guys find me too far away? Do I need to be closer? Is that better? I don't know. How's the lighting? I don't have my lights on, but I figured since it's still daylight and the lights in the hallway are pretty bright because it's right above me, so this should work. We'll see. I didn't even say anything. I said hi. This is Missy. I did do my intro. Today I'm doing my wrap up for April. I'm only a week late. It's okay. All right. So the first book that I'm going to talk about is a nonfiction book that I purchased. Wow, my hair's driving me crazy. I purchased it in Joshua Tree the first week of April when we went camping, and so it's just I did read this though all the way through, and this is a Colorado Desert Wildflowers reference book. So if you open it up, there's these big glossy pictures. I would say they're what? I think they're a little bit bigger than a 3x5. Maybe it's a 4x5. I don't know. It's just pictures of flowers found in the desert in California and other places around here. America. Anyways, I really enjoyed these pictures. I never used to like flowers or plants, but over time and after hiking so much and like really getting like really nice pictures of flowers, I've become more and more interested. So if you want to look at flowers from deserts in North America, you might like this book. I don't know. Just wanted to share it. I gave it 4 stars. What, did I give it 4 stars? I did. It's very informative. I like the big pictures that come with it, and I really like the fact that it tells you when you're more likely to see the flowers, like what season. So that was good. The next thing I'm going to share with you guys is the lowest rated book on this list, and that is Race Me in a Lobster Suit by Kelly Mahon. It's absurd internet ads and the real conversations that followed. Now, I received this from Quark Books. Quark emailed me back in the fall, I believe. Maybe it was winter. I can't remember now. And they asked me which books I would be interested in receiving and reviewing. And this was one of them. I really liked the cover. I thought that the title was fun, but I didn't really know anything about it. So when I went in and I started reading, I realized this is not my kind of humor. There are, I believe, here's the table of contents. There's about 28, I think there's 28. Maybe there's 29. I think there's 29 stories in here. 29 ads that Kelly put onto Craigslist, and out of the 29 I only liked one story, and that is because it didn't hurt anybody. So let me explain in depth. Kelly, the author, would write a very silly ad. Someone would see this ad and respond to it, and then she would respond back. There would be a back and forth, and that's what's in this book. So, for example, this starts off, the gray part is the ad itself, and then on this side of the page, it's her, and then whoever responded. Now, in the beginning of the book, in the intro, she says, let me find it. It's on page 11, I believe. It says here, the toughest part of this project was coming clean to the strangers I'd been telling the wildest lies of my life to. When one of us finally hit a breaking point, I'd confess, and I was always nervous what the reaction might be. I'm happy to say that most people were amused by the banter. However, some were not amused. Those reactions ranged from silence to a mixed bag of go blanks. I'm not sure what your takeaway from this book will be, but I'll share mine. People are funny. I can't explain why some folks entertained the idea of my ads for so long. Maybe they wanted a good story, which is an attitude I can get behind any day. So if you enjoy going onto, say, YouTube and watching prank videos, then you might really like this book. I don't find pranks funny, especially if they waste time and hurt the other person. So when I say hurt, I mean like several of these stories, the person on the other end of the ad was actually sincerely and genuinely interested in what she was providing. The ad said, hey, would you like to do this? The person was interested, and then this whole time it was a lie, and so she was just like, oh, just kidding, this is fake. Or the person would get so fed up because she was being obnoxious, and her requests were ridiculous. For instance, one of them was she wanted to know if anybody could film her breakdancing, and someone was like, yeah, I'm a photographer, I'm also a videographer, and, you know, where would you like me to do this? How much would I get paid? So forth and so on. And then she's like, oh yeah, we're just going to break into this place. And he's like, no, I will totally film you, but I'm not breaking into anything. And so it was like this whole back and forth kind of thing, which drove me crazy, because not only are you just yanking someone's chain, you're just wasting time, and time is precious, especially for people who are busy. And the whole I could rant on this. Maybe I'll make this my Thursday rant next week. I don't enjoy this. So the one story that I did like, the ad was for, again, Kelly is writing this, so she said, I need help. I'm stuck in the zoo in a rope web upside down by my nose ring. And I thought, that sounds so ridiculous. And the people that responded, there was 2 different people that responded, played along. They're like, oh, did you try this, and this? And she's just like, no. And they're like, oh, do you still need help? Like, they were never planning on leaving their house to go look for her or anything like that. So they were entertaining her idea, and even though it's not written in the ad, they knew it was a joke, and so they played along, which I'm totally fine with. If it's presented as a joke, the people take it as a joke, no one got hurt by it, then great, everything's fine. But when you start like just, you know, dragging people for weeks on end, and they're thinking they're going to get something out of it and nothing happens, it's really annoying. So that's why I gave this 1 star. This is an ARC, so I will be giving this away in my trade away, which I'm sure you guys are wondering when the trade away will be, and I'm thinking of filming it either Thursday or Friday, because I want more allowance money to send out the boxes. So I will film it hopefully at the end of the week, and then we can start doing the giveaways and everything by the following week. Hopefully that will be enough time for me to save. Anywho, let's continue. The next book I want to talk about is Circus. This is the 3rd book in the Insanity series by Cameron Jace. And now April was my, again, Alice April. So I wanted to get to more Alice books, which I did, in a way. I finished 2, so that's good, I guess. So, let me give you a little bit of a recap of the first 2 books. So, the Insanity series is a dark Alice retelling. Alice is 18, I believe, so this is YA adult. There is no adult themes. She does have a crush on a boy, but I don't think they talk about anything. And but there's a lot of blood and gore. So if you like bloody, gory retellings, then you might like this one. Alice is in an asylum. Her last name is Wonder. She meets the Professor Caterpillar in the asylum, and he is, you know, taking her out on rendezvous to capture Wonderland monsters. That's her job, is to capture Wonderland monsters, to collect memories of her past, to remember Wonderland itself. She gets clues every once in a while from the past Lewis Carroll. She gets clues from him, and yeah, I love it. I love all the monsters that have been in each book, and it's kind of the same formula each time. So Alice is in the asylum. She gets wind of a Wonderland monster. She gets taken out of the asylum by the caterpillar, and they go on the hunt to solve the mystery. And then the whole while she's still trying to figure out if she's the real Alice or not. So again, love, love, love. I love anything Alice retellings, but this is just such a fun and fast read. It's got pretty big font. Cameron Jace, I think he publishes these. Does he do it himself? I don't know who publishes Cameron's books, but there is a bit of editing that needs to be done. Not a whole lot. Every once in a while there'll be a word missing in a sentence, like a to or the or something, and then you're thinking, oh, it sounds funny, but if I add this extra word, then the sentence is fine. And I think out of the entire book there might have been 5 edit issues, but other than that, I gave it a 5-star. I really enjoyed it. And then the kids and I finally finished The Fourth Bear by Jasper Fforde. This is the second book in the nursery crime stories. And yeah, so the first book was called The Over-Easy, and it was about Jack Spratt, who is the head detective for the nursery crime division, which is a subdivision of the normal police department. Now, they're the laughing stock of the police department. Nobody takes them seriously, and all the nursery crimes have to do with nursery characters. So if a crime is very strange in its presentation, then they just assume it's a nursery crime, and then they call Jack Spratt to investigate. So he's not very popular. Jack Spratt is investigating the Humpty Dumpty case. He thinks that Humpty Dumpty was murdered, and everybody thinks maybe he just fell. He was drunk and he fell off the wall, but Jack Spratt thinks he's murdered. And so him and his colleague Mary investigate. Is more to do with the 3 bears and Goldilocks and the gingerbread man, and politics for the nursery crime division, also politics for the police force and other large economic groups in the area that's funding certain projects. The bears have a equality thing going on, so even though they're talking bears, people still want to hunt them because they're bears. But there's a whole society in reading that says, no. You can't harm bears if they can talk. They should be able to live and be equal to humans, and it's this whole thing. I gave this one 4 stars. My children and I really liked it, and we're hoping that there is a third and final book. Oh, there's also Dorian Gray in here and his magical car. Yeah.
Oh, goodbye.
Okay. Shh. A lot of things are going on, and that's why I gave it 4 stars. Even though it was a really fun read, I think too much was going on, if that makes sense. The next book I read was a recommendation from my sister, and it is Many Lives, Many Masters by Brian L. Wise. I think it's Wise and not Wes. Wise? Wes? I don't know. This one is about a psychiatrist who goes to school, gets his degree, and teaches psychotherapy by the book. Then one day he gets a patient named Catherine who has tons of phobias, a lot of anxiety, is having nightmares at night. She can hardly function. And so for a few months he tries the normal by the book psychotherapy, and it's not working. Finally, he convinces her to allow him to hypnotize her so he can kind of find out if there is any hidden backstory to why she has these phobias. Maybe she just doesn't remember, something terrible happened, a trauma, and once he uncovers it through hypnosis, then they can get down to business. But what he finds is something he wasn't expecting whatsoever, and that is Catherine is recalling her past lives. Now, throughout the whole time that he was with Catherine as her doctor, she tells him that she's been to Earth 86 different times, that each time she comes back, it's because she has to learn something that she didn't in the past life. Whatever debts you collect in a previous life, you bring them to your next life, and you have to pay off those debts and learn those lessons, or they get carried over to the next life until you are completely satisfied with what you've done here on Earth, and then you become a higher spirit. Hey, try really hard to be quiet or you're going to have to leave. So I'm only going to give you, hey, this is your last warning. Do you understand? That means no talking. I just found this extremely fascinating. Not only was I raised with this reincarnation kind of mindset, so I wasn't like flabbergasted with the whole situation. I was like, oh, that makes sense. It totally works. I really, really liked it. So I'm glad that my sister made me read this. And because I liked this so much, I did end up buying one for myself. This one I borrowed from the library. I gave this, what I give this? Where is it? Many. I gave this 4 stars. It's a nonfiction, and it's easy to read, and most of it is dialogue, but it wasn't like the best nonfiction I've ever read. So I only got 4 stars. The next book that I did finish was Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. This is just the first story. I am currently reading Through the Looking Glass to my children. I only have I think I only have 3 chapters left, but I'll talk about those at the end of my wrap-up. So yeah, I did finish this one. Obviously, I gave it 5 stars. This is my second read through. I read Alice in Wonderland 2 years ago, I believe, and I really enjoy it. My oldest son's favorite chapter was the mock turtle soup chapter, and that is because it has a song in it. So let me go to page 90 really quick. All right. Let me find the song. Okay. I'm not going to read it to you guys. I'm not going to read it to you guys, but I do want to say that while the turtle is singing the song, he's also sobbing. And so when I read this chapter to my children, I sang all the songs while pretending to cry, which made my oldest crack up. He really enjoyed that. Yeah, so 5 stars. Love, love, love. Again, currently reading Through the Looking Glass, so I will be reviewing that at the end of this month, which is May. The very last book I want to talk about is... What? What?
That's your last favorite book of all.
No, this is my last book to review.
20 minutes later.
Alright, and the last book that I read in April was Jesus Interrupted, Revealing the Hidden Contradictions in the Bible and Why We Don't Know About Them. I picked this up for the Buzzwordathon Round 3, where we had to read books that had who, what, when, where, why, and how in the titles. I'm almost done reading all of those books. This one was extremely interesting. This is by Bart D. Ehrman. And basically what this is saying is not to give up on your faith, but just know that the books of the Bible were written after Jesus had died, after the apostles had died, and this is the interpretation or the story from word of mouth passed down from generation to generation, what people remembered of the living Jesus. So all of those stories came from different mouths. You know, like one person may have told the story this way and people wrote that down and created a story from it. And then another person said the same story pretty much but changed it just a little bit, and that is also part of like the New Testament. And so if you read the Bible from cover to cover, every single verse, and you realize, oh, why isn't Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, why are they all different, even though they're all talking about Jesus's birth and Jesus's resurrection and so forth? Why are they different? And that's the reason why they're different, because several people had different interpretations of the same story. Yeah, I just found it fascinating. I really like learning about religion, even though I am not religious personally. But yeah, I grew up wanting to learn more about Jesus. He was very fascinating to me growing up, and so I really enjoyed this book. I listened to it on audio. The narrator was amazing. This wasn't dry at all. It didn't get boring. So if you are interested in theology, religion, the Bible, anything like that, I would pick this up. Our author here used to be a pastor, preacher, priest, I don't know. He went to seminary school, learned all about the contradictions there, and has been teaching college courses on the subject. So it's not like it hasn't been taught throughout all of the seminary schools. All of the preachers and so forth, they know about this information, they just don't teach it in church. And this talks about it, like, why don't we teach this to the laymen, the people that are coming to our churches? Why aren't we teaching that? And it's basically boils down to people either will think that you are trying to deter them from their faith, like try to change their minds, or they won't believe you, or again, they'll think that you're against God or against Jesus, and that's not the case. He's just giving you the facts as a historian. So I found that very fascinating. All right, so those are all the books that I was able to complete in April. And the only other thing I want to talk about are the books that I'm in the middle of. So like I told you, I am currently reading Through the Looking Glass to my children. This is the what is it called? This is the Penguin 150th anniversary edition of the 2 books. What I didn't know, and this is because I've never read Through the Looking Glass, that if you like or have seen the Disney version of Alice in Wonderland, not the Tim Burton, but the animated edition, both of Through the Looking Glass and Alice's Adventures in Wonderland are in that movie. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that this had like the talking flowers in it, where it's also where it's part of the cartoon. So that was interesting to find out. I didn't realize they mashed it all together. That goes towards the Tim Burton ones as well. Okay, so I am currently on chapter 5, 6, 7, The Lion and the Unicorn. And I have, what's the last chapter? The last chapter is 10, 11, 12. So I'm on 7 and there's 12 altogether. So I'm close. I'm almost there. I will continue this tonight for the kids. And then I am almost done with Death's Acre, Inside the Legendary Forensic Lab, The Body Farm, Where the Dead Do Tell Tales. This is by Dr. Bill Bass and John Jefferson, with a foreword by Patricia Cornwell. I read Patricia Cornwell's Scarpetta series back in college. I think I got either 11 or 13 books into the series. I really do enjoy them. Reading this has made me want to pick up Scarpetta's books again. Not Scarpetta's. Okay. Reading this book has made me want to pick up Patricia Cornwell's Scarpetta series again. I don't own any of the books. I used to own them all. I was buying them from Barnes & Noble back in college for $8.99 a piece, and like I would go every time I got paid to get the newest book in the series. But now I'm on the hunt. I need to find an edition that I really want. I'm probably going to get it in mass market paperback because I have room to put them on this shelf. But I really want to go back and reread all of those because there's a large chunk of Bill Bass's history with Patricia Cornwell. When she wrote The Body Farm, which I read and really enjoyed, that kind of helped Bill Bass's Body Farm because he's the creator of The Body Farm. But her establishing that in her thriller and bringing, limelight, made people more aware, and that allowed him to get more bodies and more coverage and so forth. So this is very exciting. I'm currently this much left, so I'm almost done. And yeah, it's been an amazing read. I want to thank my friend Keely for making me read this because it is good and I absolutely am enjoying it. So far it's 5 stars. If you like true crime and you like the macabre, definitely pick up this nonfiction because it's so good. All right, and then the other thing that I'm currently in the middle of is Needful Things. I told you this was the April picks for the Stephen King 2019 read along. I am not even close to being done. I have this much more to read. This is definitely a chunker, and I finally got the audio back from Overdrive so I can start listening to it again, probably by the end of the week, because I was waiting for this one. I started Everything's Eventual again, which was the January pick that I didn't get to finish, so I'm starting to finish it now. Anyways, that's it for this video. It's not really 46 minutes long. I'm gonna have to cut a lot of this out. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week, and I will talk to you soon.